So let's take a look at Ghana's Premier League now and ask the question, why do Ghanaians opt for the European football more than the local league? Well, while the Ghana Premier League only brings you a few eyeballs, per match, Europe's top leagues are able to fill stadiums with people and millions following globally. Now, domestically, several attempts have been made to rake in support for Ghana's league, but that appears to cure, it appears the cure is not at hand. Now, over the weekend, the President's Cup gave us an idea about how low the Ghana's league has sunk, because the match between Kotoko and Hartlepool only failed to draw in supporters even when the gate was free for people to attend. So exactly what is wrong with the Ghana Premier League and football, development in the country in general? Joy Sports' Gary Al Smith and Gideon Awuni, who is a sports analyst, will be joining us to understand what exactly is happening. Gentlemen, grateful that you're joining us here. Gary, I would want to start with you. So what exactly is wrong with the Ghana Premier League and football development in the country in general? Gary, you might want to unmute so we can follow what you're telling us. Okay, so we're working the line so we can bring you that conversation, because it's important we understand why the league has sunk so low that people are not following now. Gary, I can hear you now. So question is, what is wrong with the league that now people are not interested in it, and why is football development in this country at the level it is now?
Well, I was saying that this is a very big question, and we might need more than the allotted time to, talk about. But in summary, really, it's years and years of different things. So point one will be that, in short, May 9, 2001 was a huge cause of it. People simply stopped having faith in the products that was the Ghana Premier League for safety and security reasons, especially in the big cities. Then a big thing is the coming of cable TV, accessible cable TV, with as little as 50 cedis now. You can have a plethora of world-class football that, to be honest, is far superior to the products that we offer in Ghana. In the highlights that you are looking at right now, you look at the pitch, it's not great. You look at the aesthetics, it's not great. The jerseys, not great. People can, with a switch of a button on their remote, go to England, Spain, even South Africa, where the pitches are better. And so, people who have choices will go for what is nicer and what is more beautiful. So this is point two. Point three is that we ourselves as a people have shot ourselves in the foot for a very long time. What do I mean by that? The investments that the European leagues and other leagues around the world make, we don't make a quarter. In those places, the states are involved, Grace. So that is to say, the state puts money into the basic infrastructure, because there's nowhere in the you love your football, where you love to watch football, where people or football people, as they are known here, do it themselves. There is no country in the world. They need the bedrock of the state to do that. So in summary, I could give 10 reasons, but let's just take these three as three major reasons why our football is not attractive and why people will opt for other products than the Ghana Premier League.
Now, you are someone who has covered local, international tournament. What is it that the country is missing?
So yes, I spoke about the state involvement. So name your African league. Let's not even go to Europe, Grace. Name your African league that you think is better than ours. And straight away, I could give you a guess as to the level of state involvement. So if Asante Kotoko or Heart of Oak have even qualified for the African Champions League or the CAF Confederations Cup, right? When the Moroccans or the Egyptians are coming down to Ghana, most of them have transportation sorted out, like a direct flight is sorted out by the state. Meanwhile, your Asante Kotoko and Heart of Oak will probably have to take about 4 or 5 flights before they go to Egypt or Morocco or something. You are not on their level. Yes. Recently in Morocco, they hosted the Club World Cup. It is wrong, and I've heard a few people say, oh yeah, the Moroccan FA, no, the Moroccan FA don't do anything. The government of the day, so Morocco is a monarchy. The king has decided that football is important for youth development, sport is important for youth development. So the government have poured a lot of money because the Moroccan FA cannot do it all. I know it's easy to bash the GFA, that, yeah, they get money, but the truth of the matter is that without state involvement, and even when our football was great, the government had a big, big, big hand in it. So that is just one. Yeah.
Now, there was this whole campaign about Bring Back the Love, which initially was on fire, but it took a nosedive. Why did that happen?
Yeah. Well, exactly for the reason that I am espousing, Grace, the GFA came and they had the people's trust. So people gave them the benefit of the doubt, didn't they? Right? And so the next thing would have been for example, a hand bigger than the Ghana Football Association, because the GFA don't have the money to do some of the things that we see our South African, Egyptian, Moroccan colleagues do. They simply don't have the wherewithal to do that, So the next step would have been that, okay, they have started Bring Back the Love. They are encouraging the media. They had a media roundtable. They came to the multimedia group, and so they gave us access and all that. But then they could not maintain it because, it's the GFA. They are not the government of the day. And I think rather than say government, I have to use states. Because if I say government, then I mean, MPP or NDC.
Yeah.
But the states, so regardless of who is in power, have to help the GFA. Otherwise, it is absolutely going to be a 9-day wonder. So today we are talking about this because Asante Kotoko came to Accra and they were playing Heart of Hope. Let's assume that the stadium was filled to capacity with 40,000 people or whatever, right?
Yeah.
That would have been because fans of Heart of Oak and Asante Kotoko love their teams, and so they will pay and come to the stadium, all right? However, on Wednesday, maybe tomorrow, if 2 other teams play, they will not go to the stadium because it is not Heart and Kotoko. And that's what we have seen over the years. That is what we have seen over the years. So even if Asante Kotoko and Heart of Oak play and we fill the stadia, the question we should ask is, in the other countries that we all love, even when the team that is last on the table plays the team that is 10th on the table, they are able to get, 20,000, 30,000, 40,000 people. That is where we probably should be going, unfortunately.
Okay. Now, let me bring in Gideon Awin now. He is a brand and marketing specialist. Now, Gideon, help us understand, to understand the extent influences customers' patronage in this. Does the same rule apply to football when it comes to trying to sell a product to a customer?
Perhaps sit at bars, watch even DSTV, not even consuming our local leagues, which is quite appalling. Okay. And we can also call on government to also support, as Gary said. Yes, it's very fantastic. Government can push. Look, we have what we call the sports tourism. It's not just about you supporting the sports per se, but the tourism nature of it. We can market our league in such a way that people will even admire and come and learn from us, or come and visit some of these club teams to see how they have branded or how they have changed over time. So we can do that. And when we look at the sports brand architecture I even made mention of, the Spanish are also using a different model of the sports brand architecture. They have tried to pick Real Madrid and Barcelona. These are 2 giant teams in the Spanish leagues that they have used these 2 teams to market their league, and it is really fetching for them. So Ghana here, we can also leverage on Hearts of Oak and Asante Kotoko as the 2 bigger teams in Ghana. Model it, copy like the Spanish model, and also brand it in such a way that these 2 teams can really fetch the people, or even bring the fan base to come and watch in the sports stadium. And it's quite appalling. Even Sunday, when Kotoko has played, people were enthused and happy watching Liverpool and Manchester United.
Interesting. Very interesting point you raised there. Now, we were on the street to understand from the public what they do make of what's happening and what could be done to bring back this love. Let's listen to some of them.
Because sometimes the referees are not good and we don't have quality players on the pitch to watch them. Because when you look at the teams that we have now, the players that we have in the country, we don't have quality players like Charles Taylors, Ishmael Addos, Ember Powers. If somebody is holding the ball, you don't know who to pass the ball to, that the person will show the skills. Like now, when you are watching Real Madrid, you know that you can see players like Vinicius Jr. When you are watching Manchester, you know that, oh, Rashford is there. When you are watching Chelsea, you know that Fofana is there. When you are so that's why now people are not going to the park, because we don't have quality players in the pitch that we are going to watch them. The skillful players are not there so that we can watch them and at least be happy on the pitch.
Oh, the problem is very simple. Our football now is not attractive. You can see as we went to the Chan tournament, our boys are not playing anything. If Niger can score Ghana, our local team, then it's me, our team is totally off. It's no more attractive. We don't have stars in the league to go and watch. People go to stadium to go and watch stars or performance of teams. But if your performance is not good and you are always selling your stars outside, who is going to watch? Who are you going to watch on the field? So our first problem is our stars are not available to go and watch. And secondly, our league is not attractive. Yeah, we have to we have to pay our players well for them to stay a little bit small before they can go to abroad. That's what we can do. Those days, we went to stadium to go and watch Dombote, Chastela, Osekufor, Sami Eje. But now there's nobody, there's no star.
The reason why President Cup and our league, as I go Sunday, to me, I can say a problem there too. But your league features, a big match like this, I think say almost share up to the foreign side, But due to the bet in youth now, we need to see, you need the foreign matches, actually more than the local matches.
Well, Gary, let me come to you for your final words. Let's look at your reaction to what the public had to say.
Well, I think you had it there. You had it. I mean, football is a really, really simple business, Brace. 22 people chase one ball and want to put it in the net. If I am going to the stadium, I want a guarantee that the 22 players there know how to play the football. And the people in the street are telling you that they don't know any of the people there who puts the ball in the net. They can't identify with them. When people like me and the media build up maybe Brace and say, oh, this guy is good, this guy is good. Within 6 months, Brace is gone to Afghanistan. Then Joy FM start again. Oh, Kojo is good, Kojo is good, Kojo is good, Kojo is good. Within 3 months, he's gone to Niger. Then we say, Kwame is good, Kwame is good. At the end of the day, when Gideon takes his 1 CD to go and watch Brace, after 6 months, he is gone. Just when he's developing an affinity with Brace. Then he takes another 1 CD to go and watch Kojo. Then he takes another 1 CD to go and watch this person. He will get tired. Instead, he will use that 3 CDs to watch Mohamed Salah or Bruno Fernandes, who will stay at Manchester United or Liverpool for 3 years. Football is a really simple business. You see, so we can talk about the other things. Yeah, the pitches are not good, but that is what and that's why we do Vox Pops, Brace. The people are telling you that they cannot identify, because look, we play what they call Munchendi in our communities, sure. Right?
Yeah.
We play Sunday Stars, Monday Stars, Sunday Special. Are the pitches green? No. But we go every time because they know that, oh, this guy who used to play for Kotoko is coming. This guy who used to play for, it is the same principle.
Okay, Gary.
So yes.
Solid.
Yeah.
Solid point there. Let me come to Gideon. For you, let's look at solutions. What needs to be done to ensure that the love that we had for the league is, is brought back so that this league can be attractive?
Yeah, so hearing what the people said and what Gary also alluded to, you can see that, look, there's a lot that we can do. We can stem on the strategies to build a brand, and we can also look on sports brand equity, where we talk about brand awareness,
Okay.
brand and brand loyalty, and where we can talk about perceived quality. So interviewed on the street, they talked about the quality of the players. So athletes are very key here. So you have local leagues that you don't even have quality athletes in there. So I think Kotoko tried bringing Fabio Gama from Brazil. And this really increased the viewership and even increased fan base from other geographical areas. So other teams can also emulate same, bringing foreign players in there to make it attractive, not just in Ghana here, but other African countries, even the world across. Look, Tottenham they targeted the Asian market. They brought in Son from Asia to get their fan base over there. Manchester years back brought in Jason Park also to capture the Asian market. So these are things that, look, even the European teams, they have penetrated the African markets, bringing in our stars to their place, paying them well, and they are playing, killing themselves for these clubs. But yet still, within our context here, we don't have these star players, and we don't even pay them well. This is quite appalling. So we can go back through the drawing board, and I think the GFA president started something, bring back the love. He should continue it. He should use the celebrities to spearhead this call and move it, and I think we'll definitely get there. We'll start from somewhere.
All right, Gideon Awuni and Gary Al Smith, I'm grateful to you, gentlemen.